The most dangerous people aren't the loudest, they're the quietest. And Kiyotaka Ayanokojy is proof of that. In Classroom of the Elite, Kiyotaka isn't just smart, he's a master of dark psychology. He doesn't rely on luck or strength. He uses the human mind as a weapon. But what makes him terrifying isn't his intelligence. It's how he understands people so deeply that he can control them without them even noticing. In this video, I'll break down 6 dark psychology principles Ayanokojy uses to manipulate, dominate, and always stay 10 steps ahead. If you learn these, you'll start seeing how easily people can be controlled, and how Ayanokojy stays untouchable. Let's start with the first principle that makes him unstoppable. 1. The art of staying invisible. Ayanokojy's greatest strength. Nobody sees him as a threat. He purposely acts average, hides his true intelligence, and blends into the background. Why? Because people don't defend themselves against someone they underestimate. Psychology calls this the gray rock method. When you seem boring and harmless, people drop their guard. They reveal secrets, make mistakes, and underestimate you. Which is exactly when you can strike. Ayanokojy pretends to be lazy, unmotivated, and ordinary, so nobody suspects he's pulling the strings behind the scenes. If you want to manipulate a situation, stop showing off, be invisible, stay quiet, and let others expose themselves first. The one who controls their emotions, controls everyone else's. Kiyotaka Ayanokojy is terrifying because he has complete emotional detachment. He doesn't get angry, he doesn't panic, and he never lets excitement cloud his judgment. When others are driven by fear, jealousy, or pride, he stays calm and logical. And here's why this works. When people are emotional, they make predictable mistakes. But someone who is cold and rational, like Ayanokojy, can calculate every move while others are too blinded by their feelings to notice they're being manipulated. 2. The emotional void technique. Ayanokojy doesn't just control his own emotions, he uses other people's emotions against them. He watches how they react under pressure, learns their weaknesses, then pushes the right emotional buttons to make them act exactly how he wants. For example, he knows fear makes people desperate, so he applies just enough pressure to push them into bad decisions. He knows pride makes people reckless, so he flatters or insults them to trigger impulsive behavior. If you can stay calm while everyone else is emotional, you'll see opportunities and weaknesses they can't. The best manipulation is when people think they made the choice themselves. Kiyotaka Ayanokojy rarely forces anyone to obey him. Instead, he makes them depend on him without realizing it. He understands a powerful psychological truth: people trust those who solve their problems. And once they trust you, they'll follow you, even if you're secretly controlling them. 3. The savior trap technique. Ayanokojy subtly creates situations where people fail or get into trouble, and then he's the one who saves them. He helps at the last moment, making himself look like the only person they can rely on. Once someone feels they owe him, they become easier to control because of reciprocity bias, a psychological effect where people feel compelled to return favors. Over time, this creates silent dependence. People feel grateful, but in reality, they're just pawns in his game. If you want influence, be the problem solver, not the attention seeker. Help strategically, and people will start coming to you automatically. Power isn't about strength, it's about knowing what others don't want you to know. Kiyotaka Ayanokojy rarely uses brute force, he uses information as a weapon. He listens, observes, and collects details that others overlook, because in psychology, the person with the most information controls the game. 4. The leverage web technique. Ayanokojy carefully gathers secrets, weaknesses, habits, fears, and stores them for the perfect moment. If someone is reckless, he lets them reveal too much. If someone has a hidden flaw, he keeps quiet until it benefits him. When the time is right, he uses those secrets as leverage, without ever directly threatening anyone. This is covert blackmail at its finest. People obey because they subconsciously fear what you might do with what you know. Observe more than you speak. People reveal their weaknesses when they feel comfortable around you. The less you talk, the more they talk, and the more control you gain. The smartest strategist never gets his own hands dirty. One of Kiyotaka Ayanokojy's most genius tactics is how he manipulates others into doing the dirty work for him. He almost never takes direct action. He makes people believe it's their own idea to act in his favor. 5. The invisible hand technique. Ayanokojy subtly plants ideas, rumors, or small suggestions that push people into taking the actions he wants. He feeds them just enough information to guide their choices. He manipulates conflicts between others so they destroy each other while he stays uninvolved. By the time the battle is over, he's the one who benefits the most, without anyone realizing he was behind it. This works because of psychological priming. Once an idea is planted in someone's mind, they believe it was their own thought, making them more likely to follow through. If you want influence, don't command, suggest. Let people think they're in control while they're unknowingly playing your game. The strongest manipulator isn't the one who wins every battle. It's the one who can't be controlled by anyone. Kayotaka Ayanokoji's final and most dangerous weapon isn't his intelligence, it's his complete emotional independence. He has no attachments, no desperate desires, and no ego to protect. And that's what makes him untouchable, because you can only manipulate people who want something: validation, love, approval, status. Ayanokojy doesn't crave any of it. He acts only when it benefits him, and he can walk away from anything without hesitation. 6. The no weak links principle. He never lets emotions dictate his decisions. He avoids forming deep attachments that others can exploit. He only reveals what others need to see, keeping his true self a mystery. This makes him unpredictable and impossible to control, the ultimate chess master in a world full of pawns. The less you depend on people's approval or emotional validation, the harder it is for anyone to manipulate you. Be self-sufficient, and you become as untouchable as Ayanokojy. Kayotaka Ayanokojy isn't just a genius, he's proof that the strongest weapon isn't power, but understanding human psychology. Blend in, stay calm, collect secrets, pull strings from the shadows, and control your own emotions. Do this, and you'll become the person no one can manipulate, but everyone unknowingly obeys. Countermove 1. Assume everyone has a hidden agenda, defending against, the art of staying invisible. Ayanokojy's tactic. He hides his intelligence, acts average, and makes you underestimate him. When you don't see him as a threat, you drop your guard and reveal too much. Never assume someone is harmless just because they seem quiet or average. Treat every interaction as if the other person might be gathering information on you. Share less personal details, especially with people who seem overly passive or curious. Ask yourself, if this person was secretly smarter than they appear, what would they want to know about me right now? By staying cautious, you remove their biggest advantage, your underestimation. Countermove 2. Emotional mirror check, defending against emotional control. Ayanokojy's tactic. He stays calm and rational while pushing your emotional buttons, fear, pride, anger, so you make predictable mistakes. The best defense is to pause before reacting. Whenever someone triggers strong emotions in you like anger, shame, or excitement, stop and ask, why do they want me to feel this way? Who benefits if I act on this emotion right now? Take a breath, wait 3 to 5 seconds before responding, and force yourself to think logically. Because once you're calm, you stop being predictable, and manipulators lose control over you. Countermove 3. Question every favor, defending against the savior trap. Ayanokojy's tactic. He lets you fail, then saves you at the right moment, making you feel like you owe him, creating silent dependence. Whenever someone helps you, ask yourself, why are they helping me right now? Do they benefit if I start relying on them? Be cautious about accepting help too often from the same person. If possible, solve small problems on your own, even if it's harder, because every time you accept help, you subconsciously build a sense of debt. Remember, gratitude can turn into control if you're not careful. Countermove 4. Information minimalism, defending against the leverage web. Ayanokojy's tactic. He gathers secrets, weaknesses, and personal details, then uses them as silent leverage when it benefits him. The best defense is control over what you share. Only reveal personal details to people you fully trust, and even then, share less than you feel like sharing. Avoid venting secrets when emotional. Manipulators often listen quietly when you're upset. If someone keeps asking too many personal questions, deflect with humor or vague answers. Remember, the less people know about you, the less power they have over you. Countermove 5. Decision double check, defending against the invisible hand. Ayanokojy's tactic. He plants ideas, rumors, or subtle suggestions so you take actions that secretly benefit him, while believing it was your own decision. Before acting on someone's suggestion, ask yourself, whose idea was this really? Who benefits the most if I do this? If someone casually suggests a plan or gives you selective information, pause and gather facts from multiple sources before acting. Manipulators hate independent thinkers because they can't push them into emotional, impulsive decisions. Countermove 6. Detach and strengthen yourself. Ayanokojy's tactic. He's nearly impossible to manipulate because he has no emotional attachments, no desperate desires, and no ego to exploit. The ultimate defense is to become less emotionally dependent on others, just like him. Build self-confidence so you don't crave constant approval. Set personal boundaries and don't let guilt or fear push you into decisions. Practice emotional detachment. When someone tries to provoke you, pause, breathe, and respond logically. The less you need validation, the harder it is for anyone to control you. Self-sufficiency is the ultimate anti-manipulation shield.